The following is a true story. As with any true story about a person's life, you will find tragedy, loss, and unfulfilled dreams. But in this one, you will also find joy, devotion, true determination, and never-ending optimism. Our story begins in 1932. The country was buzzing about Amelia Earhart being the first woman to fly across the Atlantic solo. But in the little town of Chatham, Virginia, another female was making her presence known. Janice Graham was born on October 4th, 1932, in the top-floor bedroom of a house on Whittle Street. Janice was the daughter of Vernon and Henrietta Geyer and had 5 brothers and sisters: Tommy, Vernon, Cliff, Bebe, and Eunice. Both of Jan's parents were entrepreneurs in the small town of Chatham, Virginia. Her mother, Henrietta, ran her own beauty salon and gift shop, while her father, Vernon, owned a greenhouse. One particular claim to fame at an early age was in 1937, when she won the title of Little Miss Chatham. Besides that bit of notoriety, Jan grew up on Whittle Street, playing kick the can like all the other kids. Jan always spoke fondly of her youth and used to tell stories that usually involved at least one of the family's pets. Many close to her recall the stories of the family's flying squirrel, a pet lamb, and a war-veteran German shepherd named Tipper. Animals seemed to hold a soft spot in her heart that only grew with the coming years. Jan was popular in school, and by 1949 was a cheerleader at Chatham High. Across town at Hargrave Military Academy, a young cadet by the name of William Graham was coming back to finish school after 4 years in the Navy. Bill was the son of John and Thelma Graham from Alexandria, Virginia. Bill had been a cadet previously at Hargrave, and because of his military service, was allowed to finish his schooling as a day student. This meant living in town, and as fate would have it, placed him in a house directly across the street from Jan. One evening, the two met in an unusual way. Some might even call it literally falling in love. Jan ran from her house across the street to visit her neighbor and literally fell over Bill, who was sitting on the front steps. It may not have been love at first sight, but it was close. For on their second date, Bill told Jan that he was going to marry her. She brushed it off as just an old sailor's line, but Bill meant what he said. They dated for the next year, as both worked on finishing school. While making good grades, Janice did not mind challenging the system when she felt it was wrong. As she said on more than one occasion, let's just say that the principal and I were both glad to see graduation day come. As graduation day approached, Bill was scraping to get the money to purchase an engagement ring. The cost was a whopping $125, but it took months of eating hard-boiled eggs for lunch and dinner every day to save enough to get it. On graduation day, Jan accepted the ring and decided to stay in Chatham and work at her mother's beauty shop while Bill finished school. They set the date of August 4th, 1951, for the wedding. August 4th, 1951, dawned as a beautiful summer day, and the wedding was held at the Baptist Church in Chatham. The perfect couple recited their vows that day, and thus began a union and a journey that would last for the next 53 years.
Give me a kiss to build a dream on.
After the wedding, Bill and Jan moved to Arlington. Bill had a job with the Comptroller General's office in nearby Washington, D.C., while Jan worked for another division of the General Accounting Office.
Build a dream on. Give me a kiss before you leave me, and my imagination will feed my hungry heart. Leave me.
In 1952, they purchased their first home in Arlington, Virginia, a real fixer-upper that Bill would refer to often as a shack. In July of 1953, their first son Rory was born, and Jan left the accounting office to fill the new position of full-time mom. Bill also left the General Accounting Office to work as a food salesman.
Romances, making believe they're true. Oh, give me.
While Jan enjoyed her new position, Bill didn't enjoy his. The territory was large and involved a lot of travel. By 1954, they decided to sell the home and move back to Chatham.
A kiss to build a dream on.
In Chatham, they ended up living in the very house that Jan had grown up in.